Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. It's been about 4 months since I've done an update video, and there's a lot that's changed, and I got some guys asking for an update, so here we go. Alright, well, I had to go back and rewatch my old video to see where I left off. But where I left off, I guess, was I just got the parachute mount installed, and I was working on the rear tubs and the tin work, and now you basically have a full interior. I got a dash from VFN. Got it installed with these little quick release deals. There's 3 of them, and the dash pops out. You still got to take off like some stuff on the steering column, which isn't too bad if you have to really get in there, but I'll open it up and show you guys behind it. I got the steel floor pans brazed in. That was a learning experience, but got it done. All the carbon is in. It's kind of hard to see with the seat in there, but it's all installed. And a roll bar, that's from Mark Williams. That's a pretty stiff piece. Kind of a build yourself kit where you have to cut the tube and weld the ends on. I got the arms off it right now, but got tabs welded to the rear end housing. All of the carbon stuff is done underneath. And I'll get under the car later and show you all that, but yeah, very itchy cutting carbon, but very rewarding once it starts going in. It makes it actually look like a car. I don't know for sure if I'm gonna mount the CO2 bottle there yet. It seems kind of like a good spot. It's kind of high, but there's not a whole other lot of places to put it. Parachute handles up there. I got my keypad 3D printed part. Show on the other side. This thing is kind of cool. I decided to put a rear view, at least one rear view camera in the car for backing up, since if you try to put a mirror in this thing, there's so many bars and stuff to look through, and the back window has some pretty dark tint, so you can't see anything. So I decided to get this camera set up, see how it works. But I also integrated in my rugged radios controller, a phone charger, power windows, and a power hatch popper. So I converted this car over to power windows because you can't reach the door or the window handles, window cranks, because the seats are moved back quite a ways. I think it's going to be pretty nice, and it doesn't really weigh, maybe 1 or 2 pounds more than a crank. So we'll see how that works. Up in the front, I've got the front fenders off. I did a whole bunch of welding and smoothed out the firewall. Filled in every single hole, welded it completely solid because fire can't go through steel. So it's all sealed up. I don't know how smooth it's going to be once I shoot some paint on it, but it's a race car, not a show car, so we'll just live with it. I got catch cans mounted, rif sensor blocks on each side. I had the mock-up motor in it. I just yanked it out a couple nights ago, or last week, and I put in my real engine. Oh, I built headers. That was about a week and a half of work, probably, building the headers. I go all the way down low, and the hot side. Got the downpipe on there with my brace. I think I talked about that in the last video. This is the intercooler ice water tank with the pump up on the front, and I got my radiator in. This is gonna be a transmission cooler, and this is an engine oil cooler. I had this transmission cooler on my last car and it worked amazing. And I got a twin to it so I can use it as an oil cooler. That was one of the problems I had with the car, the blue car. I had very little problems, but one of them was my oil temperatures were getting really high driving on the street. So that should take care of that. This is a race fuel tank. The race fuel pump is down below there. It's hard to see. I got my Rife boost solenoids in. And then last night I ran all these hard lines to the wastegates. I really should pull the radiator out and show you that, but that all turned out really nice. Yeah, the motor's in with my integrated alternator mount on the motor plate. That looks like it's gonna work out fine. Starting to put some old fuel lines and hoses on just to try to get hose lengths and make sure I have all the fittings that I need. These would be like my two main fuel lines for the race fuel rails. And then I have a fuel filter mounted up here, and then the lines will just kind of run down and go right. So all the fuel will be on this side for the race setup. I got one of our FluidWorks 90-degree regulators mounted back there. My other Rife block for my old car. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on up in the front of this, but I'm trying to make it not look cluttered and make it look like it was thought out. This is my overflow for my radiator, so it's nice and close. Horn, gotta have a horn. Let's see what we got on this side. Steering's in, turn signals, Haltech screen. I got all the carbon done for the double frame rail. It all Zeus is in. I need to buy some more Zeus fasteners for the whole car. I just bought some off of crappy ones on Amazon just to mock stuff up with because I knew I was going to scratch them all up. But yeah, driver's floor's in. Driver's floor goes, per rules, goes all the way from the firewall to the back underneath the seat. The passenger side, I just stopped it right underneath the seat, so it doesn't quite go all the way back. This is a 3D printed thing I made. It's just a rough, like one of my revisions. I still need to make one more because I forgot to put a couple holes in to tighten the clamps. But it's got two 12-position switches built into it, an ignition switch, and then a 12-position keypad from Haltech. So that'll be, oh, and then like a big e-stop mushroom button's gonna go there to kill the car. I'll have one on the back, but this center console thing is not gonna be red. I've got some nice filament that's black that I'm gonna print everything out of when it's my final revision. But also made a few other little things. It might be kind of hard to see, but this is a shifter cable where it comes through the carbon. I made like a little 2-piece grommet, 3D printed, so that stays fairly smoke sealed, I guess, and it kind of holds the cable for when it goes up to the transmission. I've got some FFP pedals up here. Yeah, I gotta pull the dash out and show you guys that, but all right, I'll be right back. All right, a couple bolts later, got the dash out. Yeah, these are the FFP Skeletor pedals. Super nice. I just got kind of like mock-up hardware in there holding the stuff in place, but they went in really easy. In the instructions, they give you a minimum distance between the center line of this, I think it's an 1.25 inch tube, and then this 1 5/8. And I can't remember, I think it was like 2.3 inches. But if you take a Motion billet clamp, this is like 1.25 inches, and they take an 1 5/8, and you bolt them together, it gives you the perfect distance center to center. So I figured out the notch I needed here and put a clamp on and let it like float and hang. And then I could get it lined up straight and nice and tight with the clamp, welded. And then I laser cut a tab over here, welded it on. And since this is so close to here, that's really all I have holding it together. But yeah, it made installing it really easy. So they're adjustable forward and backward. You can, I think, raise and lower the foot pad. Same with the throttle. You can move it forward and backwards and raise and lower the pad. But yeah, super nice. This is my wannabe titanium steering column mount. I was thinking, trying to figure out a lightweight, cheaper than titanium way to do it. And I think this is gonna work fine. I still need to weld this little seam here, but it's pretty sturdy. I can shake the whole car with it, so I think it's gonna be fine. I'm thinking about mounting the fire bottle right there. I don't have a great place in the back for it, and this way it would keep my lines as short as possible in case there is really a fire. All of the fire retardant is gonna make it to the nozzles. I still need to figure out where I'm gonna mount the nozzles and stuff for it, but yeah. That's the aluminum transmission tunnel that I came up with. It's got, I think, 8 Zeus fasteners that hold it in place, and I'm debating about, I need to rivet it together if I'm gonna keep it this way, or else I might make this flat piece out of carbon, so I still have some carbon fiber left over. I like using carbon. Not only it looks cool, like really cool, but it's not gonna vibrate and rattle like crazy. And I don't wanna listen to this whole thing rattle like a tuna can when I'm driving it down the road. It's already gonna be loud enough. Just don't need any like low or high pitched rattles. So I'm trying to be mindful of that. But yeah, shifter's in place. Started figuring out some plumbing for that. Some more views of some stuff. I can go over and show you the brains of the operation, I guess. It's a Haltech. Over here on this side. I used to have these on multiple plates, like mounted across the dash bar, my old car. Decided I would like to stack them, and I came up with this. This is just a U-shaped piece of aluminum, and then I modeled up and 3D printed this like tray that you bolt through the actual Haltech into this, and then I can mount my PD16, the solid state relay for the trans brake, and then I mounted some leash electronics relays on each side. So there'll be like the fuel pumps, the coils, the injectors. I got another one over there. I don't know if I'm gonna do like high beams, pull quite a bit of current. And then possibly, what was else I gonna use it on? Oh, maybe the power windows. And then up there is a CAN hub, which all my CAN things hook to, like the screen, the buttons, and then there's a CAN wire that goes in so the R5 can talk to the PD16. But yeah, it's nice and compact, and I think it's gonna work pretty good. Just have to pop the dash off if I need to get in here and add wires or change anything. Check fuses. You can also pull the seat out easily with my one pin seat removal thing. Get in there and under the dash if I have to pop a fuse out. But yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna race it and drag and drive trim with the dash or not. Maybe not, because I don't have to have it, but there are some races that I want to do where you have to have a factory appearing dash to meet some rules. So it's kind of the reason that I went that way, and it hides a lot of this stuff and just makes it look cleaner in here. But it is kind of a big thing that's in the way. I thought about mounting the Haltech screen right to the dash, but then if I race with no dash, then I'd have to try to figure that out. So not doing that. I do have my old transmission in here, which is just a stock case 400 with a bell on it. I need to get a reed case or something similar, because if that thing grenades, it's gonna go right through the carbon and into somebody's leg, or maybe something worse. So I need to update that. That's on my list to do, but don't need to do that in order to get this thing ready to paint and possibly just fire up or street drive. So got that shoved in there. It's just got all of its old hoses and stuff hanging on it still that I gotta clean up, but that shouldn't be too big a deal. I guess I can go around and I can show you underneath of it. I wanted the whole bottom to be smooth, which was a lot more work with adding more and more scallop strips to the bottom of this thing and welding upside down, but the whole bottom is basically covered with 2 sheets of carbon, one on each side, kind of split down the middle. And then I had to form a piece of sheet metal for the drop in the number 1 bar, and then bend it with the brake in multiple places to try to get it to cone shape like that. That was pretty tricky, but it turned out pretty nice. I do have a belly pan that goes up here against the motor plate and Zeus's on with 2 Zeus's to cover up the bottom of the transmission. And then I need to make yet just a triangle piece to go in there to make a filler panel, and then the entire bottom will be smooth. I can't really do it on the jig or install it with the motor in, but there is a belly pan that goes underneath the whole engine, and it also ties back into the mid plate with the little bracket that I made, but I have to pull this out in order to do it. And then there's 2 tabs welded up on the K-member, so it's like 4 1/4-inch bolts, and then you can pull the whole belly pan off to service anything, change the oil. So that should all be taken care of, and it fills up this entire area. So if it does need to contain anything, which I think I'm still gonna try to run a diaper too, depending on how hot it gets, but then I'll be like double protected if this stock crank thing just decides to grenade. I don't wreck the car just because I'm oiling myself down. But yeah, a lot of work under here, and then you just cover it all up with carbon so you can't even see it. But it turned out pretty nice. Yeah, I'll go back up to the top. So I think, like I said, right now I'm trying to just get everything mounted on the car that has to be plumbed or wired, and then figure out what I need for bulkhead connectors, whether it's for a fluid or electrical connectors, figure out hose routing and fittings. And this part of the job takes a lot of time if you want to make it look nice. It's like, well, should I use a 45? Should I use a 30-degree fitting? Can I get this to fit in there? What about this hose? It just eats up a lot of time. And then it's going to be similar for wiring, but that's a little bit more straightforward, I think, than trying to figure out hoses and fittings. But really what I'm trying to do is get all the hoses in and then run the wiring around the rest of it, because the wiring is easy to lay out. So yeah, I guess that's the next steps. Just get it all plumbed. I'm waiting on getting a master cylinder. I'm gonna put a TBM master cylinder in it, one of the new billet ones. I'm also getting some new rear brakes, because I don't have my TBM rear brakes anymore. They were for a GM flange. Get that sorted out. I need to figure out shocks. I also added a bracket on the rear end right here that I can easily like remake these at different heights, because I don't know how this is all going to work yet when the rear end's actually hanging with the shocks. But so I got 2 tabs up there, up on top, this adjustable bracket here that I can remake any height I want, and then just a cheapo, I think it's a Monroe air shock for like an old Chevelle or something, that I can use as like an assist shock for pulling the trailer. I can also potentially raise the back of the car slightly for street driving, which I don't know if it's going to make the front end dive too far, but I could crank the adjusters up in the front too if it seems like it's going to scrape a lot. But yeah, so that's just another little thing that I added. What else under here? I don't know if I talked about these last time, but I had these little tabs, they're 3/8 steel laser cut that I halfway welded on. I need to pull the rear end out and climb in there and weld them the rest of the way. But these are for jack stands, because the carbon panel comes right up to here. You don't want to stick a jack stand right under it and crack your nice carbon panel. So this is for a jack stand. I still need to put probably a jack point maybe in the back to jack the back of the car up, because it's going to be so low. You might have to have like 2 jacks, one to jack it up just a little bit and then be able to get underneath like the rear end housing to get all the way under it. I don't know yet, but that's a possibility. I did weld up the fuel tank 2 nights ago, so I could start to mock up some plumbing for that. I got the Corvette regulator down in there. That's all just -6 hose. So it'll be 1 -6 hose coming from back here on a quick connect, so I can pull the whole tank out easily, run up under the car, and then right to the back of the street or pump gas fuel rails. But yeah, come along. Slowly but surely. I don't know if I'm hardly gonna make trying to get this thing on the road by the end of the summer, because summer's flying by, but I'm working my hardest on it. It's like at least 4 hours a day every single night, and more on the weekends if I can, but it's hard. Yeah. So I guess if anybody has any questions, leave me a comment. I'll be happy to answer them. Or if you want to see something else in particular, now that I have some more stuff to look at, let me know. All right, so that was a quick and dirty update video on the Camaro project. And I'll see you guys next time. Later.
Sunburned shoulders and a busted tailgate. Warm beer wisdom showing up late. Ain't got much, but I got today. And buddy, that's enough, so crank it anyway. Kick the dust up, let it fly. One more round before we say goodbye. Crank the hog, let the good times roll. Cheap sunglasses and a heart of gold. Living loud with my boots on the dash. If it ain't worth cranking, it ain't worth the cash. Mama said, son, you gotta slow down. I said, mama, that ain't how hogs get cranked now. Steel guitar crying like a Friday night. Everything's heavy, but the mood is light. Fellas, it's about that time. Oh no!